The opposition took its fight against the Election Commission up a notch today. If the constant attacks, a 72-minute news briefing, dropping a so-called atom bomb of evidence and a full-fledged public campaign wasn't enough, Congress's leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, today led a march of nearly 300 MPs from the Parliament to the Election Commission headquarters. With police claiming that no permission was given for such a march, the MPs were stopped. We are also being told that the EC had invited 30 opposition MPs for a meeting, but instead they decided that all 300 will land up. What we witnessed was needless scuffling with the police, breaking and breaching barricades when 30 of them could have peacefully met the EC today. But maybe the intention wasn't debate and discussion, wasn't really to highlight the issues in front of the EC and listen to its responses. The back and forth with the EC is a rather political affair. It remains to be seen if there's merit to the charges of voter theft levelled by Rahul Gandhi and whether he would sign a declaration as asked by the poll panel to prove those charges. The high drama on streets isn't the only problem though. Parliament has been witnessing another washout this session. It is the money of taxpayers that's being squandered away just to force a single issue mandate. First, demanding a debate on Operation Sindoor, which the government delivered upon, and then a debate on SIR, for example. The government has made it amply clear the EC is an independent body and therefore a discussion on its actions cannot happen in Parliament. And now the government has drawn a line saying Parliament business will go ahead regardless of whether the opposition attends or not. So is it fair to block Parliament for SIR and voter roll issues even when the EC is willing to deal with the opposition MPs? We'll take that question and more to our guest joining us in just a bit. Can we allow Parliament to be held ransom to opposition unwarranted demands? That's debate number one coming up. We'll also dissect Pakistan Army Chief's big nuclear threat and what's really unfolding, what's really emboldening him on this. That's coming up next. And finally on the show, the Supreme Court surprises everyone as it asks for all stray dogs to be rounded up and put inside cages in Delhi NCR. It says put them in shelters that don't exist as we speak. Is this justified? That's coming up later. But first, take a look at these visuals. This is what transpired on the streets of National Capital today, when 300 MPs marched towards the Election Commission but were blocked by police officials as they didn't have permission. A heated face-off erupting between the MPs and police officials, scenes that frankly seems to be more for public consumption than anything else. Following this, MPs even tried to breach the barricades that had been put up at a certain spot. TMC MP Mahua, Moitra, Sushmita Dev were seen climbing atop these barricades. Well, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav also breached one despite the police officer trying to stop him. After nearly 1.5 hours of this showdown on the streets, as many had said this battle has to be fought on the streets, the MPs were detained into buses by the police. Some opposition MPs allegedly fainted and had to be escorted out from the protest site. But it's the Parliament that's having to bear the brunt of opposition's showdown with little to no business taking place. Since the commencement of this monsoon session, the Lok Sabha has reported 36% productivity rate, while the Rajya Sabha has reported 31%. But take a look at this. Question hour took up only 11.5 in Lok Sabha and 4.4% of the time in Rajya Sabha. 2.5% of the total productivity was legislative-related matters in Lok Sabha, 9.10 in Rajya Sabha. So majority of the time was actually spent, over 60% and 70% was spent on non-legislative business in both the houses. While Parliament lost hours, this is what the taxpayers are losing. So far, the Lok Sabha has only functioned for 32 hours in this session. Rajya Sabha even less, for under 28 hours. So we're only 10 days away from the monsoon session concluding. Already look at the number of losses that we have piled up. Lok Sabha has so far incurred a loss of 87 crore rupees. Add to that 93 plus crore rupees from the Rajya Sabha, and the country has lost 180 crore rupees due to the houses not being able to function properly. This is what the MPs should be accountable for, but this is exactly what they're running away from. Actually, these houses should be working over capacity or more than the slotted number of hours. But what we have is productivity tanking to less than 30%. The government says we've had enough. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju today addressed the media on this ongoing standoff with the India Bloc, accusing the opposition of not only undermining constitutional bodies, but also hampering the proceedings of Parliament. The Union Minister made one last appeal to the opposition to join discussion in houses and allow them to function. But he has said now that they're going to go ahead with or without the opposition.
पार्लियामेंट का समय को और बर्बाद होने नहीं देंगे। तो सरकार महत्वपूर्ण बिल को पारित करना चाहते हैं। आज हम इम्पोर्टेंट बिल्स दोनों लोकसभा राज्यसभा में हम पारित करेंगे। एक आदमी का ना समझ और एक परिवार का वजह से देश इतना नुकसान नहीं झेल सकता है। इलेक्शन कमीशन में जाने के लिए समय खुद मांगा और इलेक्शन कमीशन ने ये इंडी गठबंधन को बोला कि हर पार्टी से 2-2 सदस्य को भेज दो। 30 सदस्य को बुलाया, फिर जाता नहीं है। यहाँ लोग पार्लियामेंट में चुन के आए हैं जनता का बात रखने के लिए, लेकिन हर दिन हंगामा करते रहेंगे तो फिर एमपी बना क्यों है?
First Operation Sindoor, now the SIR demand. Is the opposition unfairly holding Parliament to ransom? That debate is coming up with our guests.
ये जो लड़ाई है ये राजनीतिक नहीं है, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की लड़ाई है। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को बचाने की लड़ाई है। वन मैन वन वोट की लड़ाई है।
It has to be a people's movement because this is not about you or me. It's about the democracy of this country.
People have some questions now in their mind. Answer those questions. Keep the sanctity of elections alive.
आप चुनाव जीतोगे तो सारा विषय सही, अब चुनाव हारोगे ये सारा विषय की अव्यवस्था आपको ध्यान में आती है।
Let's go across to Siddharth Yadav, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. Saral Patel from the Congress party also with us. Saral, I begin with you. The EC says you should have come to us. 30 MPs could have come. Every opposition party could have found a nomination, could have found a spot as far as 30 MPs are concerned. What was the need to do this today?
Shivani, the question is why can't EC meet 300 MPs? Why unilaterally decide how many MPs will meet them?
But
If
300
election
MPs,
commission,
one second, does that sound like a fair demand? 300
Why
MPs
not?
will
Why
go
not?
in one
All of
go.
them are the
How many of them will
representative
get
of
a
the
chance to speak? Surely in that meeting also you will have representatives who will voice the opinion of the party.
the demands and the demands of the oppositions are already in public demand.
Yes.
Then why does the EC need to meet them? They should release the machine readable electoral form votes and also the CCTV footage. Then
So
there's
you
no
don't
need
want to
them
meet
at
the
all.
AC, you don't want to meet in requisite number of representatives, but you want the EC to fight this public battle with you.
Who will decide? Why unilaterally EC will decide how many people will meet them?
So what
All
you
of
give
the
them
MPs
a
are
number? The number can't be 300, right?
Representatives.
Saral, what is
Public
this about
representatives
unilaterally? You want to go to the EC to meet them. You are saying you will not even allow the EC the right to decide how many of people can come and meet them in one batch. You could have requested
can
for
EC decide that?
you could have
MPs
requested
are
for
public
multiple batches.
representatives.
I don't understand. See, these are the kind of reasons why people are not paying
Shivani.
attention to this, this drama that is going on the name of voter rolls and SIR. For everything, the Congress party and the opposition
When
cannot
the
say, oh, we will
sanctity
not do
of
it
the
like this.
election process of our country is eroding, is being questioned. Is that a drama?
So why not go and meet the
opposition has
EC?
given-
Why not take
opposition
the
has given
opportunity
proof.
of 30 MPs?
Opposition has given proof.
No, if not
1
30,
lakh to
35, if not
250
35, 40,
voters
if not 40, 50.
are
These are
found
not,
duplicates
I'm
and
sorry,
fake.
the opposition is not emerging as serious on this issue.
No. Shivani, you are not asking the right questions.
Yes.
The right question is, it's been 96 hours since the leader of opposition held a press conference and gave proof of the election tampering. Why is EC not giving the data?
No,
Why
I
is
think
EC
you are
running
not
away
phrasing the
from
question
transparency?
correctly. I have first of all
No,
discussed it since
Shivani,
Rahul Gandhi's. No, one
Shivani.
second. Since
Shivani.
Rahul Gandhi's press conference,
See,
I have
when you ask
discussed it.
question, you should have patience to
One
listen
second,
to
one
the
second.
answer.
I'll give you time. But Saral, I ask you one thing about EC meeting, you move from one issue to the other. Please answer my question, but I'll answer what you raised against me. Since Rahul Gandhi's press conference, we have discussed it. We have discussed the material that he has provided. We have discussed the material issue that has cropped up from his press conference. We have discussed those issues. Since then, EC has also responded. EC has said, you give it to us in writing. You put your name where put your money where your mouth is. You sign an affidavit. We'll take it forward.
Now, if you will allow me to answer without interruption, number one, the same rule that EC has cited says that this objection within this rule can only be raised in 30 days after the publication of the electoral roll. It's been a year since that election happened. It's been a year and a half since the rolls were published. So it's a wrong rule that EC is citing, and it is wanting to give us that in writing, which the former 2 election commissioners have on record said this is the incorrect rule. So why is EC running away from the transparency?
So why didn't you go and meet them today? You could have gone. I don't understand. Do you think 300 MPs would have got an opportunity to meet? Basically, Saral, the allegation is that you are doing this for theatrics and optics.
Shivani,
theatrics and optics are dictating the way you are taking this issue forward.
You have called.
30 MPs could have gone.
2 guests on your show. Both of them are here. Unilaterally, you decide that only one of them will be here. That cannot be the case, na? 300
but only
MPs
if you
marched,
have the issue to
and
raise.
It's election commission's duty to meet all the public representatives. Why
Yeah,
can't
so
election
time could
commission
have
meet
been
all
sought.
MPs?
1 second. Then time could have been sought that no, over the next 1 week you give us
let
batches.
Me answer particularly on that.
I'll come to you. I'll come to you,
settle
Siddharth.
the
1
debate
second.
in
No,
one line.
the ordinary citizen is also asking this question, no, today. Okay, you want every 300 MP to be heard. Fair
Shivani,
enough.
the
Every
only
300
question, the
MP could have written to the
ordinary
EC, you give
only
me my
question-
time. You asked for opposition
Shivani,
MPs to meet. The EC said,
The
okay, come
only
and meet us.
question the ordinary
30 is a
citizen
pretty large
asking
number.
today is that why is ECI, when it should be acting as the referee of democracy, is acting as the goalkeeper of the government and one party? That is the question every ordinary citizen
But when
of
you
this country
charge
is
the
asking.
referee with being biased, obviously the referee will defend himself or herself, no? You've
By
charged,
not
you
allowing
already
MPs to
declared that
meet
the
them.
referee is biased.
By not allowing MPs to come and meet
They
them.
did allow MPs to come in. You should have
Only
at least
30
taken
MPs.
this opportunity
Why
to say
not?
30
Why
of us
not?
met, 30 more want to come.
Our demands are in public domain.
Yeah,
Whether
exactly.
30
You
meet them or
want to
300 meet
fight
them.
this in the
Why-
public domain.
why-
Then let's
why-
not do this
Yes,
drama
of
that we
course.
want to meet the EC,
No,
we
of
want to hear
course,
them
it
out.
is- It is the public's interest.
Okay.
Then we are fighting this battle in the public interest.
Yes,
Why is
your
EC
own
not
minister
releasing
in
the
Karnataka
data?
has
Why is
raised
EC
this
not
public
releasing the
interest.
data?
Saral
Why
Patel,
is
I
EC
hope
not
you know this. Your own minister in Karnataka
Shivani,
raised this
Shivani,
public
I hope
interest
you
and
also
said,
know how
if this
in
happened
one
during
information
Congress rule,
establishment,
what did the Congress government
160
do?
people have been registered as voters. And the owner of that commercial establishment says, none of these 160 people are living here, and all 160
A lot of other
them
claims
voted.
have also been debunked from Rahul Gandhi's press conference, which is why it's fair for the EC to expect you come and give us the list of which cases you are raising. Some of them have been debunked already. But I want to bring in
none of
Siddharth
them have been
Yadav.
debunked.
Okay, let Siddharth come in now. Siddharth, why can't
I hope you will interrupt
the
him the same way you were interrupting me.
why can't the EC meet 300 MPs?
Shivani, I hope you will interrupt him the
I'll
same way
do
you were
what I
interrupting
deem
me.
fit. Thank you. You can't dictate to everybody in this country how they will do their job.
No,
Thank you.
cannot act like a BJP spokesperson.
No,
If
I
you are a
haven't
news
allowed
anchor-
the BJP
if you are
spokesperson
a
to
news
speak so
anchor,
far.
Act like a news anchor.
Yeah, I'm asking my
If you are a
questions.
news anchor,
Thank you.
act
Please
like a
accept
news-
my questions
news
as my
anchor.
questions.
Don't come in.
No, my
don't-
questions are my questions.
If you want to be the BJP
Sir,
spokesperson,
this
then
trick,
wear the
I'm
BJP
sorry to
nameplate
say,
and
the
come-
Congress has
come
been
to the
using
show.
this trick
No, I'm sorry
against
to
the
say,
media
you
for 10
cannot
years
keep
now.
interrupting when you are asking me the question. You should have the
The
decency
Congress has
to
been
listen to my
accusing the
answer.
media for 10 years now of doing this. I am
Because the
asking the
media
questions
is
I am
acting like
asking.
the
The
lapdog
BJP is
of
asking
the
you the
ruling
questions the
party.
BJP is asking.
Shivani,
Sorry.
because the media for last 11 years has been acting like the lapdog of the ruling
Yeah,
party.
everybody is. Everybody is. I'm
Shivani,
sorry. This is not cutting ice anymore. Sorry to say this. Your own leaders have
Shivani,
called
next
this
time
out.
when you invite me to
Your
the
own
debate,
leader has called
you
this
should
out
wear
in
the
Karnataka.
BJP You should wear the BJP prank.
What
and
does
then
BJP
invite
have
me.
to do with this? I am doing my job. I have the responsibility
You are
to
doing
ask
the job
your
of the
party
BJP
the questions as
spokesperson
well.
by interrupting me. This happened
Siddharth
last time
Yadav.
also, and I'm calling you out on live.
Every Congress spokesperson does
Shivani,
this.
I think-
Siddharth Yadav. Why can't the EC meet 300? If
Saral,
you
you
had
know,
a problem and you
I'd-
wanted to go with 100 MPs, is that unfair?
No, Shivani, I'll, for the convenience of your audience, I'll ease this out and I'll answer this question with just one question. When the India Alliance does its meeting, why don't you call 300 MPs? When you have to do your leadership meeting, there are only 40 people there in the meeting. When you have to meet with the election commission, just because you want the drama to continue and you don't want a solution, you say 300 MPs will go. In your alliance meetings, you don't call 300 meetings. Why is that?
300 MPs
There in your alliance, 300 MPs don't have a say.
All
But in front of the
300
election
MPs,
commission, 300 people will sit and say.
because we are
When
democratic
Rahul Gandhi is
parties,
sitting in some
unlike
place,
the
Saril
Bharatiya
Patel, I was
Janata
not
Party,
speaking while you were
where
speaking.
two-
Had the
where two
courtesy to
people
hear me
take all
out.
the decisions.
I was very patiently hearing what you were saying, sir. Had the courtesy to hear me out.
Saral, I'm going to come
When
back to you.
Rahul
Just
Gandhi
one second. Let him have
says,
his
sits
first
in a
say.
meeting, when Rahul Gandhi sits in a meeting and he is raising a point, do you think any other MP from the Congress party would be audacious enough to speak in front? 30 MPs, not a small number. All parties can be represented. All alliance partners of the India Alliance can be represented. And all of them can come together and raise the issues. But the real thing is that the opposition doesn't want a solution. The opposition wants that the drama should continue. This is point number one. Point number two, this is so surprising. In past 10, 11 years, the opposition has wasted enough time of our country's parliament. But they could not find out any, lapse in the working and the functioning of the government. They are protesting, taking it to the streets about the electoral process of the country, raising issues about a state where their own government is there, where they are making the voter IDs, they want to raise that up. When the election commission does a SIR, they don't want an SIR.
Okay.
When SIR is not done and issues are taken up, they don't want that as well. What does the opposition want?
Okay,
The
Saral,
country
respond.
is
When the India
simply
Alliance
asking
meets,
one
it's
question.
only
Do not waste the time of our country.
MPs
Be like a mature opposition.
who represent their parties. All 350 opposition alliance MPs don't meet. Please respond.
All 300 of the MPs are meeting tonight at the dinner party at Taj Ashoka in Chanakyapuri. You should know that, number one. So for years, we have been hearing that BJP has this, edge of winning election. They have this booth level machinery. Their organization is in place. They have Panna Pramukhs and their organization strength. That is why they are winning elections after elections. And that was a myth.
So do we.
The truth is uglier. The truth is the Election Commission of India is acting like the Panna Pramukh of Bharatiya Janata Party. And the
Shivani,
proof
please
of that
let me respond
is
to
out,
this.
is
10
out
seconds.
in the open. The leader
Okay.
of opposition, Shri Rahul Gandhi ji, has put that data out in the open. Instead of giving transparency, instead of countering those claims, BJP is saying, okay, under some dubious law, under Election Commission is saying, under some irrelevant law, please file an affidavit under which that affidavit is going to be rejected.
Okay, all right.
This reminds
So,
me of Urdu
Saral,
couplet कि उसी का शहर वही मुंशिफ वही
let me-
मुद्दाई
let-
हमें
now-
यकीन
now
था
let me
कि
respond.
गुनाह
Two
हमारा
things.
होगा.
Okay, but what is strange now is that the Congress party is not just talking about Bihar, Siddharth, they're not just talking about Maharashtra or Karnataka. They're saying that actually past many elections have been rigged. In fact, Rahul Gandhi has given this famous quote that actually if you give us the electronic readable data, we'll prove to you that 2024 general elections were rigged. How Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister for the third time.
Shivani, let me, bust this idea of Rahul Gandhi and tell you what is rigged without giving you any electronic data. My friend and the entire Congress party is trying to create this narrative. Oh, BJP was claiming they have Panna Pramukh, a strong organization, but it's not that. It's something else. Let me tell you, I'll give you a classic case of Haryana. I come from the state of Haryana. From past 11 years, Haryana Congress doesn't have a bloc, a district president, a bloc samiti, bloc president. Nobody except the state president in the cadre of the state. Nothing. Nobody at district, nobody at a block level, nobody at a panchayat level, nobody at a zilla level, nobody. You don't have cadres from, and I say this on record, I do not require any electronic data. You have no cadre, you don't make any appointments, there is no president to lead your party, and then you lose the election and you want to put it on the election commission. Point number one. So this is your reality. If it would have been better if you know, अपने गिरबान में झांक करके अगर आपने देखा होता कि क्या कमियां हैं, तो आपको सच्चाई पता होती. Point number two, when you say under a dubious law, the election commission is asking you to give an affidavit, I'm sorry sir, it's not a dubious law. आपकी फर्स्ट फैमिली को लगता होगा कि ये देश उनके इशारों पर चलता है, पर ये देश संविधान से चलता है. There's in section 23B, it says that whosoever has to raise a query on the electoral roll made by the election commission has to give an oath. What the query is? आपने कोई चिट्ठियां दिखाई in your press conference. You laid out some names, some papers. How does one know that those are true? How would one know? Saral Patel, I was not speaking while you were speaking. I'll complete in 10 seconds, sir. Please be courteous. सड़कों पे भी हंगामा करना है, टीवी पे भी हंगामा करना है, देश को नहीं चलने देना है. आपने you showed some photos on your press conference, you know, good digital screen. How would election commission know, or the country would know those are true or not? What is the harm on coming on oath? What is the harm if you will say whatever I am supplying is the true electronic record, the true record that the election commission has given? But you don't want to do that.
One second. Saral, I think it won't be unfair for anybody. I know you don't like the media, I know you don't like the EC or anybody else, but it isn't unfair for anybody to say you've presented a supposition, you've presented certain charges and claims. It is only fair that, you know, you take this to the EC like anybody would, fight a case. Many people are asking today, if you are so convinced, fight a case and then everybody would put their weight behind you, right? Just like this, in the open, it becomes neither here nor there. And, charges don't become proof, please. You have to accept this basic premise. This is not about BJP Congress. Anybody coming out in the open and leveling a charge does not become proof of voter fraud. Please, let's not make that leap.
Shivani, this is like when a thief comes to your house midnight and gets caught red-handed, he says, show me the affidavit, put it on the affidavit.
But sir, आपने thief और red-handed अभी established नहीं किया है.
नहीं, the proof is out in the public.
No, you can't call it proof. Please be reasonable.
अपने वंडरलैंड से बाहर निकलिए. Come out of the bubble.
Please be
Go and ask Rahul Gandhi to pop the bubble.
I've been flagged and given in the public domain. Okay. If EC thinks this is false, then why not they
have a different world, Shivani. They live in a paradise, wonderland,
Shivani,
some other planet. They don't live here. कुछ अलग ही चल रहा है दिमाग में, अलग ही चल रहा है दुनिया में.
Why are they not filing a defamation case against Rahul Gandhi?
Okay, fair enough.
Why are they not filing FIR against Rahul Gandhi? It is the job of the election commission to be transparent and give public
I think the EC,
the transparency of the data.
Okay, Saral, you raise a good question. If EC is so, taking an umbrage over what Rahul Gandhi is saying, then EC should also take him to court. Maybe they're exhausting all options, inviting Rahul Gandhi to come to meet them, inviting the Congress party to come meet them, so that you can't later say, we weren't given an opportunity to put our point across. I think that's what's playing out. But this is an ugly public fight which is not helping anybody. It is not fighting the Indian political or electoral system. But Saral, I want to come to you what your own minister in Karnataka has said. He has said, these voter lists were being made when Congress was in power in Karnataka. What was our party doing then? Now, this is your own leader who's being forced to resign in Karnataka.
Shivani, you have to understand that the governments don't make the voting list. It is the election commission which makes the voting list. Whether it's in Karnataka or Gujarat, they operate under the election commission of India, and then the SEOs, the state election officers, they make that list. You think the state governments can manipulate the list?
Can I come in now?
So that manipulation has happened.
Can I come in now? So you are saying under BJP's pressure, the EC is doing fraud. But in Karnataka, where Congress government was there, they were doing fraud against the Congress government.
Shivani, the election voting rolls are not made by any government. It is made by EC. So it is the duty of the EC to come on record and say who was pressurizing them to
Who was
make such
pressurizing them? Okay.
false
Siddharth.
electoral data.
30 seconds, Siddharth.
But Shivani, this is all at a premise that someone was pressurizing something to do. No, I find it hilarious, and I find it very difficult to answer the question if my learned friend doesn't even know that who are the employees who work for the election commission in a state. Who are the BLOs? The BLOs are the ground forces of the election commission who go survey, make the records, send the papers upstairs. The SEOs that you are talking about are not even 200 in a state like Karnataka. 200, 300. But the BLOs, all are state government employees. All booth agents are state government employees. Teachers of the state government. The entire state machinery. But the great Rahul Gandhi came up with the example of a state where only his government is ruling. That's what you are doing. In Bihar, you are saying we don't want an SIR because the SIR is a problem. But in Karnataka, you are making a classic case for an SIR. Why an SIR should be done? You don't even know what you're doing.
Okay.
All you're doing is trying to save the Shehzada. I am sorry to say this. Trying to save your Shehzada. He has failed the country. He has failed the party. Under his leadership, the Congress party has lost more than 65 elections. And now you want a scapegoat.
Okay.
That's what you are
Is it
doing.
fair to
Nothing
say
else.
that all
For your own
election
gains,
results in
for your
India,
party's gains,
where a
you are
certain party
jeopardizing
doesn't
the
get
entire
elected
country.
are fraud? Can that be the case? Because it's not as if opposition parties haven't won. They have won successively in Bengal, in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala. They have won in other states. So what is this? Where is this premise coming from that all elections are fraud in India? Not just one or two cases now. We'll leave it at that. We'll take this forward with our political representatives as the days go by, because certainly this issue is not going anywhere. Moving on, in America, under the nose of peacemaker Donald Trump, his new best friend Asim Munir has made nuclear attack threats against India. Is this the peace USA talks about? A military leader with no civilian backing talking about taking down half the world with him? Here's what Pakistani army chief said while on a visit with dignitaries in American military. He said Pakistan is a nuclear nation. If they go down, they will take down half the world with them. He added that they are waiting for India to build a dam on Indus rivers and they'll strike it with 10 missiles. Went on to say that Indus rivers are not the family property of Indians, and if we treat it like one, then they have enough missiles for the same. Munir even said that even a tweet was put out of Surafil and a picture of Mukesh Ambani to show what they will do the next time. So they have descended into threatening individuals in India as well. India has hit back. The MEA said in a statement that nuclear saber rattling is Pakistan's stock in trade. The international community can draw its own conclusions on the irresponsibility inherent in such remarks, which also reinforce the well-held doubts about the integrity of nuclear command and control in a state where the military is hand in glove with terrorist groups. It is also regrettable that these remarks should have been made from the soil of a friendly third country. India has already made it clear that it will not give in to a nuclear blackmail. We will continue to take all steps necessary to safeguard national security. But with this Pakistani army chief attack, threatening once again with nuclear weapons, is US not responsible for these nuclear threats, given that USA has been emboldening Pakistan recently? That's coming up.
अगर पाकिस्तान ने गलती से भी हमारे खिलाफ न्यूक्लियर वेपन इस्तेमाल किया तो सब कॉन्टिनेंट के लिए कैटास्ट्रोफी होगा, लेकिन पाकिस्तान के लिए फिजिकल सुसाइड होगा। पाकिस्तान का नामो निशान हमेशा मिट जाएगा।
This also clearly shows the close relationship the Pakistani army has with the American administration. That is perhaps why the American administration, the Trump administration, has levied a 50% tariff on us. And this is a highly irresponsible statement. It is all the more serious that the soil of United States is being used to unleash such a tirade against India.
Lieutenant General KGS Dhillon, former GOC 15 Corps of the Northern Command Indian Army, is joining us. Sir, thank you a lot for your time. Why shouldn't US be held responsible for everything that is happening? And look at the irony of everything. Donald Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize. He claims he has stopped the war between India and Pakistan precisely because you cannot have two nuclear-armed countries fighting at each other. But his own friend is now threatening of not just launching nuclear missiles against India, but taking half the world down with it.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening to all your viewers. This statement of Asim Munir coming from the United States soil is the most irresponsible statement any nuclear state can make. And he is not even the head of the state, he is just the head of an army, not even the head of the defense forces. Making a statement like this without the political backing, without the, so to say, democratically elected government's backing, from a democracy of the world and who is friendly to India. This is nothing but an additional step in the United States pressurizing of India. And the other things are tariffs and all are also going on. So it is just a pressure tactics for us to yield.
You see this as a deliberate tactic, sir?
You never know. But no army chief, I have been a very senior officer in the army. No army man can go on a foreign soil and make a statement like this without the approval of the home government and as also the host. Making a statement like this without the approval of the host, and even if he had made it, no denial has come so far. No condemnation has come so far. No rebuttal has come so far. That itself proves that there is a Mili Bhagat or there is a involvement in this. But it is a very, very irresponsible statement by any nuclear state official.
Given what
no one
it is
in the past has made a statement like this.
Yes. No, but given what it is, are you worried, Lieutenant General Dhillon, of the situation that we've come to? I mean, after 20 plus years of trying to mend ways with the US and US also putting a lot of pressure on Pakistan, given the AFPAC situation or the Southeast Asia situation, we've come to this. Are you worried?
Not at all. See, what's happening in USA and what's happening between India-USA relationship or all the other countries and US relationship is a very fluid situation. There are lots of ifs and buts in whatever is being said on daily basis. Until it settles down, foreign policies do not work on early morning rhetorics every day. Foreign policies work on principles of long-term friendship. So I'm very sure this will settle down. This is just a dust around the whole thing. So not at all worried about what's happening between USA and India because foreign policy will take a long-term provision of it or a perspective of it. What I am wanting to say here is Asim Munir's statement that he will bring down our dams. He will, bring down half the world. I would like to make just 2-3 quick points for the benefit of the viewers. Firstly, the number of missiles they fired during Op Sindoor. He is boasting of only those missiles to come and hit our dams. And I just want to ask him, how many of the missiles which they fired actually hit the intended target during Op Sindoor? Zero. We all brought them down. We brought them all down. And if that is the capability he is trying to build his narrative on, then God bless him and God bless Pakistan. Second thing, as a Pakistan army controls the nuclear weapons in Pakistan, it is not that some civilian government who has a responsibility controlling the nuclear weapons. And if Pakistan is saying they will hit our dams, so does Munir feel we don't know where Mangla Dam is, we don't know where Sakar Barrage is, we don't know the laterals of those, and as we say it in Hindi, हमने चूड़ियां पहनी हुई हैं क्या? And we proved it in Op Sindoor, we could hit at will. And we could hit with impunity, maybe the terror targets, maybe the air bases. They could not do anything. First time in the history of the world, 2 nuclear powers came to war. And first time in the history of the world, within 88 to 90 hours, 1 nuclear power was on its knees, which was also spotted by another nuclear power. Their air force was grounded, their air defense was broken. We could hit their air bases starting from Sargodha to Nur Khan, and we all know what it means. And is he boasting of those type of military power? And another point which I want to call out the nuclear bluff. First, I must explain what is India's nuclear stated policy. Our policy is, as a nuclear state, as a responsible nuclear state, as a democracy, we will not use nuclear weapons against any non-nuclear state. That is one. Second is, we will not use the nuclear weapons as a first strike against a nuclear state. And third point is, if someone hits a first strike on us, our second strike response will be so massive that we will cause unimaginable damage. Now, this is the declared nuclear policy. Now, coming to the first strike, that we will not strike first, but as the nuclear weapons are not kept at one place, they're kept at multiple places, all the components. When a decision is taken to launch them, those multiple pieces are picked up from those locations and brought to a place from where they will be launched. The process is called mating or coupling or joining, various things by various countries. When these nuclear assets, the components are coming out of those places of storage and bringing down to the place of firing, and if the mating is taking place and we have intelligence, real-time intelligence of all these things, we consider the mating as first strike.
Yeah.
We will not allow the enemy to strike on our territory, on our population, on our military.
Basically, a nuclear warhead will never be allowed to even take flight.
One second. Mere mating with an intention to hit against India, the intent will be seen as first strike, and India reserves the right to hit the place where they are being mated or anywhere else where they feel we should respond. So this must be very clear. We are not a small little country. We are not a country of few odd lakhs or few odd millions here. We are a 1/6 of the world in population. We are the fourth largest economy. We are the biggest democracy. We are the military might. And another point which I want to bring to the notice of your viewers is the geography of India vis-a-vis the geography of Pakistan. Our north, south, east, west extent is so much, and number of metros we have vis-a-vis Pakistan's east-west extent and north-south or northeast to southwest dimensions.
Yes.
And the number of population centers they have.
Yes.
They will not be able to absorb our second strike. They will be decimated. I am not sure of half the world which he is talking about, but Pakistan is definitely part of it. What is saying?
This is why this nuclear blackmailing has been called out and hasn't worked. But you're not worried about what's happening as far as India-US is concerned. These are large democracies, mature at one level, and they'll sort it out. But are you worried about what's happening in Pakistan, given that the civilian government is nowhere to be seen? It's only the army chief who's talking, and it's as if he's now running the country.
See, it was always that in the earlier days they used to say 3 A's rule Pakistan: Allah, Army, America, and not necessarily in the same order. The order keeps changing. And now we all know, the whole world knows, the fountainhead of terrorism is Pakistan. And Pakistan is a failed democracy, failed economy, failed diplomacy, and failed military. They have not, the only military in the world which has not won a single war ever since their coming into existence. The only military in the world after Second World War, 93,000 standing army laying down their arms. I'm not talking of being captured or being arrested or whatever. Laying down their arms when they had everything wherewithal, 93,000 of them. The only country in the world which gave away half of the country while they're trying to protect themselves. And this is the record of this military. And how can a chief of this type of a military, which has never won a war, highest record of surrender and a failed state, and we are not talking of corner plots or pizza chains. We are talking of defense of a country. And a chief of that army is trying to say that he will bring down half the world. And unfortunately, saying it from a democratic country's soil.
Yes.
The world should come together and condemn it. The world should be worried about this rhetoric. Nuclear weapons are not against any country. Nuclear weapons are against population of the world. And Pakistan doesn't know, probably Munir also should know, that the winds in this part of the country, in this part of the subcontinent, when they blow from northeast to southwest, I think it will go back to Pakistan. So all these things are, technical things.
Yes.
But making a statement and, calling balle balle type of thing is not the way a statesman should speak.
Well, he isn't one, isn't it?
He isn't one. He isn't one. So granting that to him, still the host country and the home country, both should have taken note of it, and they should have condemned it if they are not party to it.
Absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on its head. It's more about what US has or has not done, less about what Munir's threats are, because we've all heard this before. Remember, he had also made that infamous speech about how Hindus and Muslims can't live together, and that whole two-nation theory nonsense before the Pahalgam attack as well. KJS Dillo, I do thank you for joining us, and thanks a lot for putting the record straight.
Thank you, ma'am, and Jai Hind.
Moving on, Supreme Court of India today surprised all by issuing an order completely against the law of the land and its own previous judgments. Supreme Court has directed the complete removal of stray dogs from all public areas in Delhi NCR, including Noida, Ghaziabad and Gurugram within 8 weeks. This decision comes in response to dog bite incidents causing alarm, including the death of a 6-year-old girl in Delhi. SC has also said that individuals or organizations, including animal rights activists who obstruct the removal process, will face contempt of court or criminal action. Now, earlier the Supreme Court had batted for humane treatment under Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, including mandating that sterilized dogs have to be returned to the same locality. But now it has said that by whatever means, all stray dogs have to be lifted and packed up. Earlier, court had repeatedly stopped individual municipalities from making their rules and said that ABC rules have to be followed. But now it has given just an 8-week ultimatum to pack up and cage all stray dogs. According to data available as of 2022, there have been nearly 12,000 fatalities due to overspeeding, drunk driving, road rage cases across India. Over 1,800 reported deaths due to potholes, etc. across Indian metros and other cities. But only 21 dog bites. This is the data from the year 2022, the last year we have complete data from. So what explains this knee-jerk reaction against rules when it comes to stray dogs? Instead of building capacity, this order to just cage all stray dogs. What explains that when other civic issues haven't been sorted out, despite several knocking the door of the Supreme Court? So is this stand justified? That's coming up. Ashwini Dubey is an advocate in the Supreme Court. Ambika Shukla is animal rights activist, also joining us on the show. And Ambika Shukla, we had spoken about this when the matter was being heard in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, allegedly make this remark that we can't go out of our homes. What do you make of the Supreme Court's order today?
It is a completely disastrous direction. It has been taken without any kind of discussion or deliberation, which is not really expected from the highest court of the land. Secondly, it completely ignores ground realities. There is not a single municipal shelter in the NCR area. There are no funds for the same. There is no land allocated. There is no staff trained to manage shelters. So how is it going to be implemented? Are dogs going to be simply, and there are no safeguards put in. So if municipalities were simply to pick up dogs and throw them anywhere, there is no monitoring. The Supreme Court has not set any safeguards for the implementation of this order, which means voiceless, helpless, completely harmless dogs can be picked up, killed, disposed of, thrown away. We have no idea.
Yeah.
So you cannot have such an order. Also look at the consequences of such an order. Apart from the fact that it is untenable, but look at the consequences. Dogs in any neighborhood are your first safety line against criminals. So you will have a wave of rising crime. Secondly, monkeys who would otherwise come to our colonies are kept away by dogs. Thirdly, rodents that increase and are kept in check by dogs will now overpopulate, as has happened before. We had 20 years ago a case in Surat where an over-efficient commissioner got rid of all the dogs in Surat, and Surat was the only city in the whole world, in the whole modern world, to contract the plague. So you have a lot of consequences that have not been given thought to.
Okay.
So we need to look at the scientific data. We need to look at all the facts on ground before such an order can be
implemented. The court has actually mandated that shelters should be put up. You're not confident about that? Also, Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta spoke and she said that they will follow it and they will earmark places for these shelters. You're not convinced by that?
Not at all. 8 weeks How do you put up a shelter? It's the rainy season, it's the monsoon. Can you do any construction in the monsoon? No. A shelter is not the same as an ABC unit. An ABC unit is only designed to keep dogs for 3 days. Here you're talking about confining them for a lifetime.
Yeah.
You have to have exercise areas, you have to have feeding kitchens, you have to have all kinds of amenities to be able to keep dogs in this confinement. If you throw dogs together willy-nilly, they will kill themselves. Unknown dogs being put together arbitrarily will kill themselves. They have to be scientifically managed. Where do you get the expertise to do that in 8 weeks?
In 8 weeks. Actually,
in 8 weeks, if it has taken them years to implement the ABC properly, how do you expect them to manage shelters, which is far, far more challenging?
Absolutely. You know, that is the main contention, Mr. Dubey, that for so long we've had ABC rules, we've had prevention prevention of cruelty to animal rules. We've had the stray dogs issues earlier as well. For numbers of years we've been debating this. We've also been going to courts. If all of those actions could not be taken, and our metros are where they are, and I'm not denying there is a stray dog issue. There is an issue. It needs to be handled. Human lives have to be given some priority. But if you couldn't solve this issue for all these many years, what will locking up dogs do in 8 weeks? And can you do it in 8 weeks?
No, that's the duty of the respective state government and the MCD, NDMC and other bodies to look into whether they are able to comply with the order or not. What would the pros and cons is, that would be decided after 8 months. But here is an order, which is an order of the court. If that is not complied with, that will invite contempt of court. There are two reasons for passing order, Shivani. We cannot rule out that life, people have their right to freely move, they have their right to live with dignity, they have their right to have a safe environment. One. Two, you have seen the number of cases. This is not my statement or statistics. Statistics, you see that India has witnessed around 22 lakh bite cases and over 5 lakh other animal, including monkey bite cases in 2024. This is not my statement. This is the statement given by the Minister of Animal Husbandry and Dairying between January 24 to December 24. These statistics have been given the Lok Sabha. And then in a reply to the question asked by Rajiv Ranjan Singh, alias Lalan Singh, one of the member of parliament. So if this is so, people are dying in the road, ultimately collective responsibility lies on the state governments along with the municipal bodies. It is, see, you have to have a safe...
Once again, I agree with you. I think the issue is not that we don't need safe spaces. I don't think anybody would argue that. Kids cannot be subjected to stray dog bites or attacks, etc. I think we all understand that. The point is that you haven't been able to manage this situation despite rules that have been drafted. Governments, municipalities have failed on this. Now, if you give them a carte blanche, can you imagine what will happen to these stray dogs?
That's the responsibility of the municipality.
I'd like to come in on that. I'd like to come in on that.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, Ashwini ji, please finish. 30 seconds.
But it is the responsibility as per the municipal laws of the municipal bodies to see. It is not that yesterday they were not able to handle it and today also they will not be able to handle it. It's an order. If order is not complied, they will face the consequence. It is not also that the court cannot extend the time. Given the situation that if the shelter homes are not prepared, ultimately the sole motive of court to have a human life, humans have a safe environment.
But not above other life, right? Human life can't be prioritized in a manner where you have to kill other life.
So that is what the children are dying. Are you talking about them?
Yes, we are talking about them, but the answer to that is not that you kill all stray dogs.
Last time we have debated on this issue, the way you have seen it, moment the people who feed them, they don't talk about sterilization. They talk about in the midnight they come and they feed in between the roads.
No, we are not defending that.
Sterilization program.
And those human rights, it's a question of human life versus the animal lives. And if you look into it, nobody is talking about they should be wiped out. They should be taken to the shelter room in order to...
I have limited time. Those shelters don't exist, unfortunately. That's the point. Yes, Amika Shukla, I have 30 seconds left, ma'am. Very quickly, please.
Yes, firstly, it is not about bites. Bite figures are vastly exaggerated. One vial is translated to one bite, whereas actually it is 5 vials to a bite, and this is an AIMS RTI response. So bite figures are 5 times exaggerated, one. Secondly, if you want to reduce bites, use the animal community. When you have a headache, you go to a doctor. When you have a dog issue, come to the animal people who can work with you to solve the problem. We can educate you, we can teach you how to behave around dogs, we can spread awareness, we can deal with difficult dogs, we can manage the problem. But you're ignoring us, you're treating the people who can actually help as adversaries rather than assets. Use the animal community in a constructive way instead of attacking them, instead of calling them, treating them as anti-human. Nobody is anti-human. All of us want a safe environment for both animals and humans together. This is Vasudev Kutumbakam, Sanatan Dharm. These are not just terms. This is the way India lives. This is the land of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was India's first animal welfarist who offered his own head in the place of 2 bakras who were about to be sacrificed. And he said, kill me instead. And he said that the morality of a nation can be judged by the way it treats its animals. If we are going to imprison our animals and...
Very quickly,
yes,
are you planning to do
something
something
to imprison our animals
to challenge this order?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because this is against the law, because the Supreme Court has in its orders just a few weeks ago, Justice Maheshwari has already passed orders in the same issue just a few weeks ago. The Supreme Court is hearing the matter in another case already. There are several courts seized with the matter. I think we need deliberation and due process rather than an arbitrary overnight order like this.
All right, I'll leave it at that. I do thank both of our guests for joining us. Certainly more needs to be done, but it's also the manner that it needs to be done that is at the core of this issue here. Also, some breaking updates coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. President Zelensky shares his views on the recent developments related to Ukraine, and the Prime Minister has reaffirmed India's consistent position for peaceful settlement of the conflict and support for efforts aimed at earliest restoration of peace. The leaders have reviewed progress in India-Ukraine bilateral relationship as well. Remember, this is coming amidst those who deal with Russia facing secondary tariffs from Ukraine backer US. Time for a very short break. The Right Stand is coming up next.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
But he's not been able to work out a deal in this case. And the thing is, he's been angling for a peace prize. And the question is that you've not been able to bring peace in Gaza. You've not been able to bring peace here.
Well, we have
wiping out one whole entity. Yes, Hamas is a terrorist organization. A lot of people recognize it. But somewhere the lines are blurred, Ambassador, between Hamas and Palestinian people in the narrative. So how long can you separate the two?
Well, I'm not sure. It's a good question. I think that at the end of the day, Palestinians will figure out that there's no future with Hamas. I think most of them already figured that out, and they are hoping that with international pressure, Israel will cave in and renounce its aims. It's not going to happen. Okay, so the Prime Minister went out to be very clear about it, and he's backed by the cabinet, which is the elected government of Israel. So, this could end today, as I said. Israel doesn't have, an interest to occupy Gaza permanently. We want another entity that is not Hamas and is not the Palestinian Authority. We don't want people that actually educate their children for Israel's destruction, just to kill Jews. Okay, this is what they're doing. So I think it was Senator Lindsey Graham that said that what Israel has to do is what the Allies did to the Nazis. You have to defeat them. You have to create or encourage the creation of a moderate government that will create a new generation of people that are that are peace loving, that they don't wake up in the morning and the only thing that they want to do is to kill Jews and destroy the state of Israel.
So is that the long-term blueprint, Ambassador, that the military control remains with Israel, although the democratic control will be with the Palestinian people? Is that,
Yes,
is that
I think
how you
is
envisage it?
For the foreseeable future, that is the blueprint, because you don't have an alternative force that is willing to fight against Hamas. So once that happens, and once we get into the conclusion that Palestinians can rule themselves without threatening Israel, that will be the day in which they have independence. And actually, we have proposed that many times in the past.
So who's backing the Hamas now? They are brought down to their knees. They're almost as good as on a crawl. But where is their support and sustenance coming from?
Well, I think that their support comes mainly from parts of the Arab world and the Muslim world in which there are radical Islamists. You have Al Jazeera, you have TRT, you have different constituencies that are still supporting them. A lot of people are sending donations there. But, there's a lot of deceit in that as well. I think that a lot of people are being taken into a ride. I think that the best way to end suffering is to stop supporting Hamas. Because the moment that happens, I think they won't have the backing and the legitimacy to continue this struggle. And as we have to finish it as soon as possible.
So are you planning some swift action in the coming days?
I don't think it's going to be swift. It's an effort that takes time. As I said, we are working very cautiously. First of all, we have to make sure that all the civilian population leaves Gaza City, and then start, because usually Hamas booby traps every road and every building. That's why you are seeing a lot of devastation when it comes to destruction of buildings.
There are also civilian deaths. There is an Al Jazeera journalist who's claimed reportedly died to a military strike.
He's not a civilian. He was a listed terrorist in Hamas military wing. We have proof and records that we have caught from the intelligence apparatus of Hamas that person, Anas al-Sharif, he underwent military training by Hamas.
So he was a registered Hamas cadre?
Yes.
Working for a television platform?
And he was disguising as press. Look, we are having this all the time since the beginning of the war. We're having terrorists that are disguising themselves to being medical staff. We have terrorists that are receiving salaries from international organizations, including the UN. You have terrorists that have been receiving UN salaries. You had UN workers that abducted Israelis on the 7th of October. And we are having this guy, Anas al-Sharif, was a terrorist. He was taken out. So some of the people still believe these lies, and they take it, they take them at face value. It's, I think, we have to stop being so naive when it comes to Hamas. They are using all these illegitimate ways to try to win this war. It won't work.
Okay. Ambassador, I'm just going to take 2-3 questions, segue a little away, and we've got to talk about Bharat and India and, where President Trump has backed and Israel's right to defend itself and protects its interests. He doesn't seem to take kindly for Prime Minister Modi saying he's got to protect the interest of our farmers, this 50% tax. And I know Prime Minister Netanyahu has an ear at the White House and also with 7 local landmarks. What is Israel's position here on this entire 50% tariff regime and this entire standoff?
Well, look, we don't really understand why the United States has made this decision. They have been putting forward different statements. We don't interfere in the relations between the United States and India. If there's anything that we can do, I think that the Prime Minister said that he's more than willing to play a role if he's requested to do. We ourselves have been negotiating a deal with the United States. We have been paying a bit more, and I hope that we'll be able to reach a deal.
What's Israel's view and your view also on this American engagement with Asim Munir? Field Marshal Asim Munir. It's his second visit with the Pakistan military head. Is Israel watching this closely? And also what he said on US soil, where he reportedly threatened nuclear destruction and nuclear war, saying if we are going down, we'll take half the world with us. Now that's what he's reported as saying. Do you have a view on this?
Well, I don't think it's a very conducive statement. I think that at the end of the day, there is a kind of competition between the great powers over who is going to influence more. Pakistan, the United States has been having relations with Pakistan for many years. It seems that there are other powers that are entering into the mix. At the end of the day, we stand very firmly by our friends. I think that in the last year we've seen how terrorists can hit both Israel and India, and what we have to do is to stand firmly and fight terrorism. That's what we're doing. That's what India is doing. And we are going to continue cooperating to face this threat together.
But do you think the world should be concerned that a field marshal would stand on US soil and then talk about nuclear non-deterrence rather than nuclear deterrence? Nations should be careful. Leaders, shouldn't they be careful when they talk the nuclear talk?
Yes.
Agree, disagree, and should people take consideration of this? Or Americans, because America enabled it to be a nuclear power. You know the history, so...
Well, we have all to act responsibly and to act responsibly, and I hope that this conduct
I know I shouldn't be pushing you into a corner there. It's unfair on my part. Let's just come to Operation Sindoor. The Israeli-help partnership has been openly acknowledged. Over the weekend, we had some interesting revelations that there have been severe damage to Pakistan military, their aircraft, and also their air defense systems. Is there...
18 Primetime Studio, presented by Schneider Electric Smart Home Solutions.